We are coming to a close on Noah's flood. My intent has been to help us recreate how the ancient Hebrews 3,500 years ago saw things. God, the physical world, the spiritual world, nature. They saw things and thought of things very differently to you and me. And the disaster we make in the West, in Western Christianity, is we see a phrase, wrath of God, and we interpret it the way we think what it means today. And it's not how that was in the Bible. So, if you're an ancient Israelite reading the story of the flood as a manifestation of the wrath of God, you already knew. God didn't do it. He hid his face, he withdrew. Then external powers came and they caused the flood. That's how they automatically thought it. We have to see things the way they understood it because Moses, who was an ancient Israelite, wrote for them. They believed that the waters beneath and above were inherently, naturally dangerous. We believe that too today. Tidal waves, tsunamis, drowning, rip. And back then, the same, but 1,000 times more. They feared the water. It was naturally violent. It wanted to burst onto the scene. And they saw God as the restrainer. Genesis 8:2 of these powers that wanted to erupt. But they went further. They also believed that the waters were inhabited by violent superpowers. They did. The Bible says the same thing in the New Testament, and we may touch on that. They believed that not only were the waters inherently dangerous, wanting to explode, and that God was restraining them, but there were these powers, humongous powers, that wanted to cause them to erupt and add to a flood when God withdrew his protective presence, when he pulled back his spirit. The names of these two superpowers, amongst others, is Rahab and Leviathan. Let's have a look at Rahab, the sea monster, and just see what it did to the waters. And you're an ancient Israelite, and this is what you believed about waters and sea monsters causing floods. This is how you understood it. We don't. We have to get into the text the way they saw it. It was written for them. Job 26:12 and 13, English Standard Version. Listen, Rahab. By God's power, he stilled the sea. If he needed to still the sea, it meant that it was erupting. It was not still, it was raging. By his power, God used his power, he stilled the sea. It was not still, it was violent. Comma, by his understanding, he struck down Rahab. Yes, God had to crush Rahab to calm the sea. Why? Because it was Rahab who stirred the waters. They were the one, this being caused the waters to need to be stilled. So God went to the cause of the raging element of the waters, named Rahab. By his power, he stilled the sea. By his understanding, he struck down Rahab. Rahab caused the sea to rage, and God stilled the sea when he struck down Rahab. Are you starting to get it now about the flood? If waters were raging, they were dangerous in and of themselves. But now you got these sea creatures need to be struck down to bring the waters to calmness again. So if God releases his hand, pulls off his spirit, what do you got? A raging sea. And there's more. Psalm 89, 9 and 10, English Standard Version, more on Rahab. Talking about God. You rule the raging of the sea. The sea is a dangerous place. Got it? The sea naturally wants to rage, but you rule over it. Jesus walked on the tumultuous waves on the water. Remember? He was showing that he was ruling over the demonic realm inside the waters. You rule over the raging of the sea. Who causes the raging of the sea? You rule the raging of the sea when its waves rise, raging, rising waves. Well, who's causing it? You still them, the restrainer. You crushed Rahab. Rahab causes the waves to rise. Rahab causes the sea to rage, and God calms them down. You rule. You use your authority over these powers, causing the raging sea and the waves to rise. So what happens if God pulls back? Flood. Are you getting it now? Are you getting it? This is how to read the Bible like ancient Israel did. We are now going to move into the second power. In the next teaching, Leviathan. God bless you.